And then the controversy over a Kennesaw State student from Mexico who has run afoul of the law here in Georgia. Here to discuss immigration issues are Eberhart of the Dustin Inman Society, which is against illegal immigration in the U.S., and Rich Pellegrino from the Cobb Immigration Alliance, an advocate for immigrants. Thank you both for stopping in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Now, before we get to Jessica Coloto, let's talk about Arizona's new law. Opponents say it smacks of racial profiling, and they vow it will never stand up to court challenges, and even President Obama hinted at that last week.
In the United States of America, no law-abiding person, be they an American citizen, a legal immigrant, or a visitor or tourist from Mexico, should ever be subject to suspicion simply because of what they look like.
Now, the Arizona bill supporters say it never would have been necessary if the federal government had just done its job. Your thoughts, beginning with Eberhart, please.
Hi, and thank you for having me. Yes, the only difference between the Arizona law and the federal government law is that now Arizona's law will be enforced. That is the only difference. The two mirror each other precisely. So if you're accusing Arizona of racially profiling, then the next step is to accuse the federal government of racially profiling, because
Rich, what
the
do
two
you think?
laws are the same.
Well, I think that Arizona knows exactly what they're doing. It's a political and racial cultural move. They know it will never stand the test of constitutionality and it will never be enforced, just like they did with the MLK law.
Rich, do you think that the federal law should be enforced more often?
I think that there's a great need for comprehensive immigration reform, and President Obama has indicated he will push for that this year.
We have our own debate going on right now in Georgia, and the focal point, of course, is 21-year-old Jessica Coloto. She is the Kennesaw State student who was brought to the U.S. illegally with her parents when she was 11 years old. Then, after a traffic stop in late March, when she had no U.S. driver's license and produced an expired passport from Mexico and made a false statement about her address when she was arrested. Now, to Cobb County Sheriff, that made her a candidate for deportation. Ms. Eberhart, if she was brought here as a small child by her parents, do you think she needs to be deported now?
I think she needs to be deported now. I mean, to whom do the laws not apply?
Mr. Pellegrino, how about you?
Well, number one, she's alleged to have made a false statement. There's no conviction on making any false statements. Number two, she was brought here as a young child. We're a nation that believes in not visiting the sins on the children of their parents when it comes to reparations and every other subject. So why are we calling for her deportation now? It seems to be pretty contradictory.
Mr. Pellegrino, at a news conference earlier this week, you demanded that Cobb County Sheriff Neil Warren drop the charges, and you hinted at the possibility of a civil rights lawsuit. One thing a lot of people have agreed on is that states have taken matters into their own hands because the federal government has dropped the ball on immigration policy and reform. Do you agree with that?
I agree that states should not take that into their hands because they have a poor record of civil rights, protecting the civil rights of people of color, especially here in the South and in Arizona. That's why we have federal laws. And if they're talking about the rule of law, then the state should follow the rule of law that's established in our Constitution.
Ms. Eberhart, saying that small children who are brought to this country illegally by their parents should be deported, is that your position?
That is my position. It's unfortunate that their parents put them in this situation, and that's irresponsible parenting on their part, and it is unfortunate.
Should Jessica's parents then be punished as well?
Her parents should be punished as well, as they need to be deported back along with Jessica. It's unfortunate. It truly is.
Why? I'd like to start with you, Ms. Eberhart, but I'd like you both to answer. Why do you both feel so strongly about this issue?
Well, I feel strongly about this issue because, first of all, to whom do the laws not apply? And secondly, as Barbara Jordan stated, and she was the chair of the Commission on Immigration Reform appointed by Bill Clinton, she stated that it is both the right and responsibility of a democratic society to manage immigration numbers so that it serves its national interests. Right?
Mr. Pellegrino?
We, Jessica, and all of these people are human beings. They are just like our ancestors who came here as immigrants. My ancestors are Italian. They came here undocumented. That's why they were called WAPs. So this is what made America great, is the influx of immigrants.
Well, I'd love to talk to you both further on what kind of immigration reform needs to come next, but we're just about out of time, so I'm just going to leave it there. And thank you both so much for stopping in. It's an issue that we're trying to educate our viewers on, and we'll probably have more debates on it in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.